A man named Kung Wei works as a spy for the Chinese police near the Hong Kong border, under the disguise of an ordinary citizen. He lives with his wife Li Ha and his son Kung Ku in a village with modest economic conditions. One day, Kung Wei starts a mission by waiting for several people whom he has planned to meet. After they arrive, the transaction happens. Kung Wei has promised to obtain a fake British passport from the group. However, when he's about to hand over the money, it turns out that the money is fake. He then forcefully takes the passport, causing a fight with the criminals. After he successfully knocks them down, Kung Wei plans to capture the leader of the group to bring him to the police station. But he remembers that he has promised his son to attend a junior martial arts competition, a very important moment that motivates Kung Ku. While he watches the match, some of the leader's men still chase Kung Wei. He fights them again until one of the criminals falls into the spectator's seats. Seeing that the criminal threatens a spectator's life, Kung Ku immediately acts by kicking the criminal's axe away. The axe is caught by Kung Wei and used to knock the criminal down. The police who come soon will secure the culprit. Watching Kung Ku's bravery, the audience gives a loud applause. After the incident, Kung Wei and his family return home. He and his son often practice martial arts, especially breathing control training. Kung Wei explains that controlling breathing is good for health and can reduce the risk of oxygen deficiency in the blood. After Li Ha calls them for breakfast, Kung Wei remembers his promise to handle the arrest of the crime leader at the police station before attending the martial arts award ceremony. However, he eventually cannot attend the ceremony, which makes Kung Ku disappointed. Li Ha says that their son has waited to take a family photo since they never have one. In that unpleasant moment, Kung Wei accidentally blows cigarette smoke toward his son. Realizing that Kung Ku dislikes his smoking habit, he promises to quit. The promise makes Kung Ku happy before the three of them get on a crowded bus. The crowded bus makes Li Ha, who suffers from severe asthma, have trouble breathing. A man who sits nearby sees her condition but shows no concern. Kung Ku stares at the man until he finally gives up his seat. Kung Ku knows an alternative treatment for his mother's illness, a soup mixed with many ants. When they arrive at the village, he says that he wants to show his award to his friend nicknamed Fatty. Before they reach the house, Fatty appears and warns them to leave immediately. This makes Kung Wei suspicious that something bad is happening. His suspicion proves true when a group of policemen comes to arrest him. Several villagers who witness the event become angry after hearing that Kung Wei is a criminal. In fact, the arrest is only part of a publicity strategy ordered by the police commissioner, Kung Wei's superior. At the police station, the commissioner asks him to cooperate with Darky, a subordinate of a Hong Kong gang boss who has been arrested. Their mission is to go undercover as members of the gang in Hong Kong. Kung Wei at first refuses because his family often becomes victims of slander. But the commissioner convinces him that this mission aims to create peace and safety in Hong Kong and will only last for a few months before he returns to police duty. Since Darky's information is needed, the commissioner allows them to escape together. After being chased by police dogs, they manage to get away. When Darky agrees to cooperate, they return to Kung Wei's house. He says goodbye to his son, gives him some money, and promises to send more. Kung Ku asks where his father will go, but Kung Wei does not answer, so his wife and son will not know his real job. Before leaving, Darky gives a protective charm to Kung Ku and promises to bring his father back. When they arrive in Hong Kong, they buy a pager as a communication tool, then go to meet the gang boss named Pakwang. The boss plans to buy a special bomb from foreigners that cannot be detected by scanners. He asks how to get the bomb without paying. When one of his men cannot answer, he slaps him and forbids him to eat rice. Kung Wei suggests that the transaction be done normally. Then the money that has been paid can be taken back for a robbery. Because the foreigners must be armed, Kung Wei advises that someone carry the bomb on his body so the enemies dare not shoot. Pakwang likes the idea and orders Kung Wei to carry the bomb himself. The plan begins. Pakwang meets the foreigners in a bar. At that time, a police inspector named Fong and her husband Chung, who is also her superior, were there. Fong wants to divorce Chung because he has another wife. After Darky takes the bomb, the robbery starts. However, the car they're driving loses control and crashes into the bar, causing a gunfight between the robbers and the foreigners. Kung Wei is told to come out and show the bomb on his body, forcing the enemies to put down their guns. But the arrival of another policeman who just knows about the incident makes the plan fail. Kung Wei throws the bomb onto a lamp and fights the foreigners. Pakwang escapes with a suitcase full of money, while more police come to surround the place. Chen identifies himself as a police officer but is immediately targeted by one of the robbers. Fong quickly blocks the attack. Kung Wei then threatens to shoot Chung and forces Fong to release his partners. The police hesitate, so Fong decides to drive a police car into the bar, helping Kung Wei escape. The remaining police do not realize that the bomb is still on the lamp until it explodes because of the heat, destroying the bar. Even though Kung Wei manages to escape, the police continue to chase him. Fong advises him to surrender. However, their way is blocked by a dead-end street, so Kung Wei decides to run away alone, making Fong chase after him. When Fong slips and almost falls from a pole she holds, Kung Wei quickly saves her. The act surprises Fong and makes her start to think that Kung Wei might not be a real criminal. After the incident, the police investigated Kung Wei's identity based on the witnesses' statements. The result leads to the suspicion that he is an illegal immigrant from China. Fong is then told to go to the nearest border police station to find more information. When she arrives, Fong asks several questions to the local police chief about Kung Wei's background. Meanwhile, Kung Ku and his friend are collecting ants behind school. They are then approached by a group of bullies who like to pick fights. The group starts causing trouble, which makes Kung Ku upset. The leader of the bullies is not afraid and instead challenges Kung Ku to a fight. At that time, a piece of paper falls from Kung Ku's pocket and is immediately taken by the leader of the group. It turns out that the paper is a wanted poster of his father, who now becomes a fugitive. The bullies then mock Kung Ku in front of the other students. Feeling offended, Kung Ku's friend, nicknamed Fatty, grabs the paper and tears it apart. The other students start to throw stones at Kung Ku, but he is protected by his friend until a teacher comes and stops the commotion. The teacher happens to bring news that Kung Ku gets a phone call. It turns out that the caller is his father, asking about the family's condition. After knowing that Li Ha's health gets worse, Kung Wei gives his pager number and tells his son to contact him if something urgent happens. When Kung Ku returns to his friend, he finds his friend being splashed with water by the bullies. They also kill the ants that the boys have worked hard to collect. This makes Kung Ku angry, leading to a fight that ends with the defeat of the leader of the bullies. Kung Ku warns them not to insult his father as a criminal again. After school, Fong watches Kung Ku from afar. Based on information from the local police, she already knows that Kung Ku is Kung Wei's son. She then secretly follows him until he arrives home. There, she talks with Li Ha, pretending to be an old friend of her husband. Soon after, Kung Ku comes bringing ant soup for his mother, which surprises Fong. Kung Ku also reads a letter from his father. After hearing the contents of a letter, Fong begins to understand Kung Wei's true intention, to provide for his family. She decides to help by giving them some money. That night, when everyone is asleep, Fong checks Kung Wei's belongings. Her action is noticed by Li Ha, who wakes up. She realizes that Fong is not her husband's friend, but a police officer. Li Ha explains that Kung Wei never tells her his real job, and what she knows is only that her husband is involved in criminal activity. However, for the family, Kung Wei is a good husband and father. Li Ha admits that she cannot take care of Kung Ku alone after her husband leaves, so she asks Fong to look after her son. Fong agrees to her request. The next day in Hong Kong, Kung Wei and Darky discuss their boss's new plan involving a billionaire woman named Mrs. Li. The boss plans to auction all the antiques he has smuggled through Mrs. Li. Worried about police interference, Mrs. Li suggests that the auction be held on a ship in the middle of the sea. After the auction ends, the participants will be robbed, and all the money they bring will belong to the gang. After knowing the details of the cooperation, Kung Wei reports it to the commissioner. At the same time, he plans to visit his wife and son, but the commissioner insists that his mission is not finished yet, and he still needs more detailed information. Meanwhile, at Kung Wei's house, Fong sees Kung Ku preparing to send a letter to his father. Suddenly, a sound like someone falling is heard. It turns out that Li Ha's asthma relapses. Her condition worsens until it becomes critical. Kung Ku realizes that his mother has not received her injection treatment for a long time. Li Ha is taken to the hospital. There, Fong asks why she does not tell anyone about the injection treatment. Li Ha answers that she does not want to burden Kung Ku, who is still a child. Before taking her last breath, Li Ha asks Fong to send her letter to Kung Wei and begs her not to hurt him. Her mother's death makes Kung Ku determined to go with Fong so he can meet his father. During a briefing with his boss, Kung Wei receives a message on his pager and learns that his wife has passed away. Although his boss gets angry seeing him distracted by the pager, Kung Wei's mind is completely filled with memories of his wife, bringing him deep guilt. The emotion makes Kung Wei angry, and he vents at his boss, but soon realizes his position as a spy and apologizes. Meanwhile, Fong and Kung Ku arrive at a harbor to cross to Hong Kong. A fisherman is surprised when he finds out that Fong wants to smuggle a child into Hong Kong, thinking that the boy is her son. Kung Ku feels offended and mentions the names of his parents, including his father, Kung Wei. His words are overheard by one of the gang members guarding the harbor. After reporting it to the boss, an order comes to kill them. A fight happens between Fong and the gang members. Kung Ku helps until they successfully drive the attackers away. The two finally manage to leave for Hong Kong. During the trip, Kung Ku realizes from the fisherman's words that Fong is a Hong Kong police officer. Fong admits that she indeed intends to arrest his father, but now begins to suspect that Kung Wei is actually an undercover police officer. Because of the fight at the harbor, news spreads about Kung Ku's illegal arrival in Hong Kong. Fong quickly suspects that this is Cheng's doing, who deliberately leaks the information to the media. Cheng claims that his action follows procedure and only aims to lure Kung Wei to appear. Besides that, Cheng hopes the incident will reunite them and bring him promotion and wealth. Fong refuses and warns him not to involve her. Meanwhile, Kung Ku arrives at Fong's apartment and receives a phone call from his father. The call is automatically recorded by a recording device in the apartment. After knowing that his son is at Fong's place, Kung Wei borrows Darky's car to pick him up. At that moment, Kung Ku sees a news report saying that he is an illegal immigrant and faces prison punishment. Kung Ku thinks that Inspector Fong has deceived him, so he decides to run away from the place. Not long after, Fong arrives but finds that Kung Ku has gone. Suddenly, a power outage occurs. In the dark, Fong hears a pager sound, which turns out to come from Kung Wei, who secretly sneaks inside. At that moment, Fong reveals that she already knows Kung Wei's true identity. She explains that it is not she who leaks information about Kung Ku, but her superior. Even so, Kung Wei still doubts her. A heated argument happens until Fong quotes the words once said by Kung Wei's late wife before she died. Before their conversation finishes, one of Fong's police colleagues arrives. Kung Wei immediately escapes while taking his wife's letter with him. In the letter, Li Ha explains that Fong is a friend who will help him and asks Kung Wei to cooperate with her. Meanwhile, Kung Ku is seen sitting alone. A car approaches. It is the gang boss's car. The boss invites Kung Ku to meet his father, and Kung Ku accepts the invitation. At the gang's hideout, Darky distributes food. Kung Ku sees a note inside his package, containing a warning from Darky that the boss is a criminal. Not long after, Kung Wei arrives and sees his son. They pretend not to know each other so that their identities are not exposed. The boss asks Kung Ku if his father is a policeman. Acting arrogantly, Kung Ku refuses to answer, making the boss angry. The boss slams Kung Ku's head against a glass table until it breaks. Darky tries to fight, but Kung Wei holds him back. Before the boss kills Kung Ku, Kung Wei pretends to attack his son until he looks seriously injured, then throws him into the garbage area. After that, Kung Wei and the gang members go drinking. Before entering the entertainment place, Kung Wei contacts Fong to tell her the location of his son. The boss sees Kung Wei making a phone call, but only gives him a coat after noticing he feels cold. Kung Wei pretends to be drunk so he can leave early and return to the garbage area to save his son. However, when he arrives there, the boss is already waiting for him. The boss admits that he knows Kung Wei is Kung Ku's father and also a policeman, expressing disappointment because he has trusted him the most. A fight happens. Fong arrives at the location and helps Kung Wei escape using a garbage truck. Meanwhile, Darky has already saved Kung Ku earlier when the boss and his men get drunk. At the hideout, the boss plans to install 6 undetectable bombs for the auction event that will be held the next day. At Fong's place, Kung Wei wakes up from his rest, but Cheng's arrival makes him hide. Cheng comes to apologize to Fong, but she refuses. At the harbor, Darky returns to the boat where Kung Ku hides. However, one of the boss's men sees Kung Ku and reports it. Realizing that the boss will come, Darky tells Kung Ku to hide underwater. The boss arrives and asks about Kung Ku's whereabouts while showing Kung Ku's lost shoe. Darky is finally caught and tries to fight back, but gets shot. In his critical condition, Darky gives a card so that Kung Wei can disguise himself as an auction participant, as well as a phone for communication. Kung Ku returns Darky's amulet, hoping he can survive, but Darky dies. Kung Ku then sends a message to his father's pager, telling him to contact Darky's phone. The pager rings at Fong's place, making Cheng try to take it, but his attention is distracted by Fong. Shang says he wants to get back together with Fong, but she refuses. Fong then realizes that Kung Wei has left while taking his pager. From the recorded message, she finds out that Kung Wei heads to the auction ship based on information from his son. Meanwhile, on the boss's ship, Kung Ku finds the CCTV room that monitors the bomb locations. He drops his shoe toward the CCTV guard to distract him, but then gets hit and faints. Kung Wei arrives at the harbor and gets information from his son about the 6 bombs on the ship. He manages to deactivate 2 bombs outside the ship, then 2 more inside. The auction event begins. However, Kung Ku's phone battery runs out, cutting off communication. The boss then reveals the robbery plan and attaches bombs to the participants, including Mrs. Lee. The boss detonates the bombs, killing Mrs. Lee and causing panic. Kung Wei is forced to fight the boss's men to stop them. The boss offers Kung Wei to become a policeman again with a low salary, but he refuses. Kung Wei reveals that he has already deactivated all the bombs. A fierce battle happens until Kung Ku steps in to help his father. They chase the boss to the 2nd floor, where a bomb is placed near a pipe. When the boss tries to trigger it, Kung Wei saves his son from the attack of the last henchman. The boss admits that he enjoys betraying his partners for his own gain. Fong arrives to help, but the boss manages to capture Kung Ku and forces Fong to drop her weapon. As soon as she drops it, Kung Wei grabs the gun and shoots the boss's leg and body, making him fall from the 2nd floor. Knowing that Kung Ku faints because the boss has choked him earlier and he has inhaled some water into his head, Kung Wei and Fong immediately bring him to Fong's helicopter. However, the boss is still alive and manages to pull Kung Wei down with him. Kung Wei realizes that the boss has activated the last bomb. He quickly orders Fong to take Kung Ku away. After they successfully leave the place, Kung Wei struggles to free himself from the boss's grip. With a powerful kick, he makes the boss fall until his head is pierced by a sharp metal edge of the floor, and finally, he dies. Kung Wei quickly escapes from the ship, and finally, the ship explodes due to the last bomb that has been activated. After being rescued by the police, Kung Wei immediately goes to the medical room where his son is treated. The doctor who examines him says that he cannot hear Kung Ku's heartbeat. However, Kung Wei, with strong belief, keeps trying to wake his son up, convinced that Kung Ku can hold his breath for a long time. His effort succeeds. Kung Ku regains consciousness. The movie My Father is a Hero ends with Fong kissing Kung Ku with affection, but accidentally also kissing Kung Wei, and finally, they create an awkward moment that soon turns into laughter as the 3 of them smile together. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps.